Good morning, friends. We're in a series on the person and work of the Holy Spirit, and this week we're talking about hearing God. Kevin talked about that on Sunday, and God is speaking. But I want to let you know that because a lot of times what ends up happening is people are like, well, I don't know how to hear the voice of God. And I think it's really important to acknowledge that it's a learned thing, that you learn how to hear the voice of God. You don't just, boom, pick it up, or that you hear the audible voice of God, and there's no question about that. In fact, I think that it's taken a good long time for me in my Christian experience to learn how to recognize the voice of the Spirit when He's speaking. And I remember years ago reading a book by the founder of Youth with a Mission, and the Lord would give him some of these things. He would speak, and it would be like outlandish kinds of things. And he's like, and the title of the book was, "Is That You, God? Is that you, God?" That the Lord spoke to him and said, hey, I want you to buy some ships and use the ships as mobile hospitals. What? Is that you, God? Now, I don't think that everything that God is speaking to us by far is at that level of giganticness. But what I am saying is that you can learn to distinguish the voice of the God from your own, from the voice of your own spirit, from the voice of everything else that's going on around you, and from all the other voices that are coming in from people's expectations, et cetera, and even the evil one when he's trying to infiltrate you and lead you into paths that God isn't wanting you to go on. But God is still wanting to speak to you, speak into you, and you can hear the voice of God, but you've got to learn. So I remember reading a book called Hearing God by Peter Lord that was monumental in helping me understand the voice of God, that we'll know God's voice by His approach. We'll know the Spirit's voice by its content. We'll know that the shepherd doesn't drive us, He leads us, that the shepherd doesn't condemn us, He builds us up. He challenges, He pulls us out of our comfort into discomfort, but He's always doing that because He's looking to make us and mold us into the image of His Son. You can learn how to hear the voice of God. It's a learned thing. So I want to ask you, if you're not good at hearing the voice of God, or you still need to just re-up on this, ask Him, Lord, I want to learn how to hear your voice better. Would you take me by the hand and show me and speak to me? Thanks for joining me. God bless you. We'll talk tomorrow.